Hello and welcome. This is a video tutorial which will show you step by step how to assign a room during room selection for your Clemson Home Housing Contract. During this video, I will give an overview on what room selection is, what your time slot notification will look like and what it means, how to select space as a roommate pair, how to select space as an individual student, and to end the video, I will answer some frequently asked questions. Before we get started, I'd like to say that I'm going to show you as much as I can replicate in regards to information and room choices that you will see as a part of the room selection process. Please note that my student information will look different from yours since I'm filming this video in advance and I will be using what we call a testing user account. Let's begin with a brief description of what room selection is and when it will take place. Room selection is the portion of the housing contract where you pick your exact room space for the upcoming academic year. You will navigate through a selection wizard by choosing a building, floor, room, and finally room space. For new students in living learning communities, room selection will be May 17th and May 18th from 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and for new students in first-year communities, room selection will be May 23rd through May 25th from 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our office will offer extended hours of business on these evenings during these time periods. You may call Clemson Home at 864-656-2295 or send an email to clemsonhome@clemson.edu. Now let's talk about time slots. Your time slot is the date and time that the final portion of the housing contract will be made available for you to access. It will be sent as a date and time in Eastern Standard Time format. Time slot priority is based on your admissions application date, the date that you applied to Clemson University. Your time slot will be emailed to your @clemson.edu email address and an alternate email address if you provided one on May 16th, sometime in the evening. If you have a confirmed roommate, you should compare time slots with them to see who has the earliest time slot. This may help you get the space you want most on your designated night of room selection. Only the student with the earliest time slot needs to enter the housing contract to assign room spaces for your roommate pair. I will demonstrate this now. Alright, so now I'm going to walk us through selecting room space as a confirmed roommate pair where one student will sign in, the one who has the earliest time slot. In that case, between my roommate Susan and I, that's me. So I navigate back to Clemson Home's website for University Housing and Dining, and I will use the sign-up portal bubble. You can get to the housing contract through iRoar, but if you do so, you will need to do Duo two-factor authentication, and this may take longer. So I would recommend going to housing.clemson.edu and using the sign-up portal bubble. This will lead you to the sign-up portal, and you'll need to visit the university login page, and you'll log in. Once you log in, it will drop you right onto the landing page of the sign-up portal. From here, you can choose Housing Contracts, and you'll navigate back to academic year 2017-18. Click Continue. When you click Continue after you have your time slot and it's open, you should be dropped onto Step 3, Select Your Space. This is the beginning of the Select Your Space wizard, and it will drop you on a page with a list of buildings. So Susan and I are part of the LLC Calhoun Honors College, so I know that the two buildings that I can choose from are Core Campus A or C. If I choose a different building, I will have no floors for this building available to me, and it will ask me to please return back to the building page to select a different building. So I'm going to choose Core Campus C. This will take me to the floor page. On the floor page, I can see available rooms and the beds that are available left in those rooms to reserve as spaces. For a double suite with a number 4 in this column, I know that that suite is completely empty. If I click it and choose it, and scroll down and click Save and Continue, it will take me to the rooms page where I can see the A side and the B side of the suite are still available to reserve. If I click the magnifying glass, I can see that the space is empty as there are no other occupants in this suite. I want to assign a suite for Susan and I where we already have some suite mates, so I'll return to the floor page And I'll choose this suite where I can see that there are 2 beds left to reserve. I'll scroll down, click Save and Continue, which will take me back to the room page where I can see the B side of the suite has been filled. I'll click the magnifying glass so I can see the other occupants in the B side of the suite. I'll also view their profiles to see how they answered their lifestyle questions. I think these 2 would make good suite mates, so I'll select this room and click Save and Continue. This will take me to the beds page. The bed page is unique because it has a 5-minute timer. This is the time I have to reserve my bed space and my roommate's bed space. Otherwise, I'll get kicked back to the floor page and I'll have to choose a room again. And in that time, someone else may have come in and taken that space. So if I'm sure this is where I want to assign myself, I'll choose bed space 1 for myself and bed space 2 for Susan. Then I'll click Reserve Beds. After reserving our beds, I will be taken to the contract status page. On the contract status page, I will see my room space reservation as well as Susan's. They show up twice because there are 2 term sessions in a year for housing assignments. Our suite mates information is also available here, and I can view their profiles or send a message through the portal. This concludes selecting space as a confirmed roommate pair. Now I'll demonstrate how to assign yourself a room space as an individual student with no confirmed roommate. I've navigated back to housing.clemson.edu. I will click the Sign Up Portal bubble. This will take me to the Sign Up portal, and I'll need to click the purple text to use the university login page. I'll log in with my username and password, and I'll be on the landing page of the Sign Up portal. From here I will click Housing Contracts, and I will navigate back into academic year 2017-18. I'll select Continue. Once you log back into the housing contract, you will land on Step 3, Select Your Space, on the Buildings page of the Room Selection Wizard. On my Community Choice page, I indicated that I wanted to live in a first-year community and not within an LLC. I should not choose a building that has LLC-only spaces designated for it, such as Core Campus C. If I choose a building with no space designated for first-year students, I will receive this error and I will need to choose a different building. A first-year community I can choose from is Young Hall, so I will click the building, which will take me to the floors, and from here I can see rooms and the open beds in those rooms. A room with a number 2 means that it's completely empty. A room with a 1 means there's another resident already reserved. I'd like to be able to check out how a potential roommate answered their lifestyle questions, so I'm going to choose 103. I'll click Save and Continue, and this will take me to the room and show me that one of 2 bed spaces is open. I'll click on the magnifying glass, and I can see that 103 space 1 has already been assigned. I can click View Profile to see how this student answered their lifestyle questions. I like the way they answered their questions, so I'm going to go ahead and assign myself to that empty bed. So I'll click on this room and click Save and Continue. This takes me to the Beds page. On the Beds page, I have exactly 5 minutes to assign myself this space. This timer is provided so that students don't camp in spaces and hold them from other students trying to assign themselves. If you do not assign yourself within the time limit, you will be kicked back to picking a room again, so please know that you should select your space as quickly as possible, reserve the bed, and exit the contract. I'm going to go ahead and assign myself to Young 103 space 2. After reserving your room space, you will land on the contract status page. Here you will see your assignment, as well as any potential roommates or suite mates. Your housing contract is now complete. Now I'll review some frequently asked questions. When and how will I receive my time slot? Your time slot will be emailed on May 16th in the evening to your Clemson University email address and an alternate email address if you provided one in the housing contract. How long is my time slot open? If you receive a time slot for a living learning community, Your time slot will be open from the time stated until noon the following day. If you received a time slot for a first-year community, your time slot will be open from the time stated until noon on May 26th. What if I was given an LLC time slot but did not choose an LLC space during that time? A new time slot valid for first-year communities will be generated and emailed to you before May 23rd, the night first-year room selection begins. Why can I only see a few buildings to choose from? You can only choose room spaces from the buildings that are within the community you indicated on your community choice page. For example, if you selected the LLC Rise, you will only be able to see and choose a bed from room spaces designated as a part of Rise. If you selected first year as your community choice, you will see only buildings with room spaces designated as first-year communities. Aside from space designations, buildings, floors, and rooms will disappear from the room selection wizard as they fill up. The spaces you see when you sign in are those still available during your time slot. When is my contract complete? Your contract is complete when you have completed room selection and have selected a room space for the 2017-2018 academic year. How can I contact my new roommate or suite mates? Your new roommate and suite mates information will be available on the contract status page of the housing contract. Add @clemson.edu to the end of their username to send them an email. I have more questions I would like answered before the night of room selection. Who can I contact? If you have more questions about the housing contract, please reach out to us by sending an email to clemsonhome@clemson.edu or calling us during our business hours of 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday at 864-656-2295. We will also be offering extended hours on the nights of room selection between 5 and 9 p.m.